Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video. So Rovio just announced Angry Birds Rush, and it's actually on the App Store right now for beta if you want to go play it. So, go do it. Now, what is Angry Birds Rush exactly? I'll explain it here briefly. Now, this is the newest release in the series, and it actually has some potential. Now, the game is an endless runner, similar to games like Sonic Rush, if you've ever played that, or Subway Surfers, as a good example. Now, thankfully, the game is not an Apple Arcade exclusive, but it is still in beta, so it could turn out to be one. So, if it does become an Apple Arcade exclusive, you might as well play it now. Now, there is 6 birds that are playable in the game, being Red, Chuck, Bomb, Stella, Silver, and Ruby. The game also uses the 3D renders from Angry Birds Slingshot Stories, which you can probably tell from the gameplay. It's weird too because Rovio has been experimenting with a bunch of different art styles, which I kind of like to see. The game also has little mini games as seen on the screen right here, and they're actually pretty fun, and I'll talk about a few. Now let's talk about the good. Now, the game has enjoyable gameplay, such as being a slingshot type game, since it's technically not really a slingshot game, but it has the slingshot physics, so I would say it's a slingshot game. Now, the game has some enjoyable mini-games that we'll go over in a little bit. On the topic of mini-games, let's talk about them. Now, right now, from information I can gather, there's around 12 mini-games inside the game currently. Let's talk about the most notable and fun ones. Now, the first mini-game in the game is a destruction mini-game. Now, in this mini-game, you go to a totally real player's base and you choose a place to bomb in the base. Then you slingshot your bird at the base, and then the bird uses their power-up, so I'm using Stella, so her power-up is the bubble, and yeah. The next minigame we're going to be talking about is the Angry Birds Space minigame, where basically you go to space, and then your bird gets Space Red's little mask, and you just destroy a bunch of the pig structures, and it's a pretty basic and short minigame, but is effective and nice to play. The next minigame is the Terrence minigame, where basically you bump into Terrence and then he basically rolls down a hill type, and he also destroys all the structures. It's really like the Angry Birds Space one. Now the next minigame is the Raid minigame, where it's basically a match game where you have to destroy crates and get a match, and then you get a bunch of coins, and you also steal the coins from a totally real person. And it's a pretty okay minigame. And the final minigame is the intermission minigame, where it's basically you fly up in the sky and you collect a bunch of coins, and then you go to the next crossworld. Wait, did I say crossworld? Wonder where they got the idea from. Now, from what you've heard me say, you're probably thinking that the game is amazing, but it's finally time to talk about the bad. And surprisingly, in a modern Rovio game, there's not much bad in this game. So let's talk about it. The first bad thing about this game is the dialogue that you can hear. Now, the dialogue gets annoying after 5 minutes, and I'll show some clips of the dialogue.
Yeah! You totally crushed your own high score!
The second bad thing is the camp feature. The camp feature is just pretty unoriginal, taking very inspiration from Garden Scrapes and Sonic Dash. The gameplay was good on its own, and it's kind of unnecessary for them to add this. The next and the final bad thing that I don't like is the inclusion of the movie design hatchlings. It was completely unnecessary for them to add these, especially since they use their Toons designs, and nowhere else in the game the movie designs show up. So I feel like they should change this with the Angry Birds 2 designs of the hatchlings. And last but not least is the energy feature. The energy feature is completely unneeded and unnecessary, since I feel like players should be able to enjoy the game whenever they want at any time, and not having to wait an hour just to play the game again so they can get energy. Now it's time to finally move on to the last segment of the video, potential changes that can make the game better for the future of the game. First things first, they should add a skin feature like Angry Birds Reloaded did. This feature was pretty nice in Angry Birds Reloaded, and I think in a game like Angry Birds Rush, it would be great. The next change is removing energy, because energy is completely unnecessary in the game. Next, I think they should either remove the camp feature or change it to make it more unique. And last but not least, they should add more birds like Blues, Matilda, Hal, Bubbles, just to name a few. So yeah, that's the end of my rant. Anyways, time to move to the conclusion. So yeah, I think Angry Birds Rush has potential and could be a really good successor to Angry Birds Go and possibly a really good modern game, because we haven't had a good game like this in a long time. So it's a great relief that Rovio is actually kind of listening to us. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and anyways, see you guys next time.